Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 27 of the Talking with the Dad podcast. Steve, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, Zach. You sound nice and crispy. Audio's on point tonight.
Listen, man, my audio is always on point, other than the first episode. If you're an audio listener, you don't know what the first episode is, right? Come over to the channel, check it out. Episode 1. You guys missed it. Audio is so bad, I couldn't subject yourself to your car to that noise. It would have blown speakers worldwide.
Remember the bad old days with the headphone mic?
That was you. That was not me. Don't project your bad
that.
Audio on me, please.
Remember those days when you were a young black kid in Harlem just trying to read comic books and not get bullied?
Like it was yesterday, Steve. Like it was yesterday. You remember that? We are coming off a really slow week in content for us here on this channel.
Yes,
kind of one of the majorities of the move that we were going to do was we were going to focus on putting out quality content rather than quantity. Right? That's what we were doing before. We're putting out 5-6 videos a week. Didn't think they were our best content we could have made. This week we focused up, got one video out. I think it was one of our better videos recently. So that's it. That's the nature of the beast here. We kind of are in slow times with gaming news and just regular news in general. Kind of the whole news cycle has been controlled by one thing. So
hey Zach, what type of mic do you have?
I have a Rode Procaster.
It's good. So I have finally narrowed down what my next upgrade is going to be, but
a new microphone.
Yes, a new microphone and a compressor that does not require me buying a mixer. Because let me tell you why I'm not going to get a mixer, Zach. This is why. I have a sound equipment addiction that I've recovered from. That was pretty bad back in the day. It was pretty bad. But I am going to go with that the K3 Plus kit. Remember I showed it to you a ways back.
Is it a Rode K3 Plus or something?
No, it's a Sound Blaster.
Sound Blaster
K3 Plus, and I'm looking at an XLR mic that I can get because I was fiddling around.
Here is your issue with XLR mics.
Yeah.
How are you going to convert it?
It goes into the K3 Plus.
So a K3 Plus, but that's a soundboard.
No.
It is a audio interface. I get the two confused. Yeah. I have an audio interface. I don't have a soundboard.
You have an audio interface that has how many channels on it exactly? Is it 12 or
4? 6.
6. Right.
Yeah, so, 2 mic ins though. So if we ever do one like a podcast in person, which if you get an XLR mic, we could definitely do one of those. Pop this in, get a good recording going.
That's going to be my next move. I've done extensive research on it, and I've heard what the sound quality sounds like with a mid to high range XLR mic, and it sounds pretty good. It sounds actually really good.
My audio sounds good, right?
Yeah, your audio sounds great, man.
I have a cheaper audio interface than those.
You have a cheaper audio interface than this?
Yeah.
Like an extra one?
No. But the one that I use is cheaper than those.
Oh, no. The K3 Plus is $99 now.
Okay, so that's the same price as the one that I have.
Yes, that is the only reason why I want to get that one.
I went to Creative's website.
Yeah, don't go to their website. Go to Amazon.
It's a good point. Oh, okay. You're right. It is. Wow, that's actually fairly competitive for that. And it's USB out. Ooh. It's micro USB out, though. That just ruined it for me, dude.
God, micro USB isn't that bad. It's that cousin that comes by every once in a while, stays a day longer.
But it's broken. It's broken. It always has a heroin addiction.
It's always just trying to get
whether
back
it's
on
in
its
remission
feet.
or not. It always has a heroin addiction.
Hey, I want you to know I still have the gate code for Ghost Recon. I didn't make it to that point last night.
Oh, right. Right.
21101.
Let's get into our first topic. Hold on.
If you're playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint and you're trying to figure out what that code, if you're trying to figure out what the code was, but your buddy was talking to you when you were supposed to be writing down the code, asking you dumb questions, the code
it's 812530.
It's 2110805. What's the first topic? Dealer's choice.
First topic is everyone previous to this video, before we get into the topics, there needs to leave a like, comment down below what you want to see us talk about in upcoming videos, subscribe to the channel. We're growing subscribers actually pretty quickly now that we switched over to this new format. You guys seem to like that, so we appreciate that. Help us grow. Help us continue to grow. We'll make more content. We're making good content, so
And we'll take any sponsor. Like no
No,
matter what it is.
no.
Listen.
No.
Your dad owns a tire shop. He wants to sponsor our channel. We're gonna talk about those tires.
Actually, he sent us one set of tires. Pilot Super Sports, if you want to get exact. And we'll be fine. What do you want the first topic to be tonight, Stevie? Let's go with something easy here. I got it. We have a list of topics. We always do. We usually actually never really end up finishing all of them. We kind of usually leave one or two on the cutting room floor at the end of this. Steve's gonna start playing Dark Souls.
Yeah. Look, I'm way late to the party on this.
So Dark Souls is one of those games that even if you're late, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The party's still going, right?
Yeah, people are still streaming that game, by the way, and getting good views.
Yes.
Streaming
Yeah, it's still very popular because it is so hard, right? That's really the key to Dark Souls is how hard it is. So let's get a little background here, Steve. Your favorite genre of game, hack and slash, right?
Hack and slash or RPG free run type of action games.
So Dark Souls mixes both of those. Dark Souls is not a hack and slash as much as it is a very thought out methodical slash, as I'm going to call it. And an RPG, obviously. So it mixes that. You have a tendency to play games on the hardest difficulty for no reason, correct?
Correct.
This is a game that you don't want to start out with that. I mean, if you do, you'll be a better player in the long run, but it'll be a very long road. So I have very little experience with Dark Souls. I've played Dark Souls 3 a little bit, but I tried to play it on mouse and keyboard, which apparently makes it impossible. So
did you beat it?
No, I didn't know. I beat the first boss maybe.
Really?
And I have 20 hours played.
Dude,
honestly, you beat the first boss within like the first hour or two, I think. And I have 20 hours played, and I think I might have beat the first boss.
You know, I've been watching a lot of gameplay on it, and first of all, there's a huge mod community for that. Like I've never seen for Dark Souls. I've been watching it, and I'm actually really pumped up. I know that the party's still going, but I'm showing up to the party late and with a carrot platter instead of bringing meats and bringing nice foods for the party.
So I'm going to go on board. That's absolutely ridiculous.
I didn't bring.
What he means by that, I know exactly what he means by this. He bought it on PlayStation and not PC.
Yes. So I'm gonna play the grip out of it after I beat Ghost Recon. Actually, I'm probably just gonna abandon Ghost Recon for a little while because it's winding down there, and I'm just gonna get into this. And I just want to see what all the hubbub's about. All the gameplay I've seen looks amazing.
It's very good.
And, I'm looking to get into it. I'm gonna give my official review, and I'm gonna set the record straight on the game. I know you've heard other reviews about the game. You can forget all that stuff. Listen to what I have to say about it, because that will be the soundboard that you use to determine all things moving forward.
That's a good point. We should get a Ghost Recon review in there too.
Ooh,
just for the hell of it. Actually, you know what? No, that game is like way too late for us to get a review on.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, there is a thriving Breakpoint community, and they all talk like this. Like, the game isn't that bad. I really enjoyed it, but it's kind of fun. There are points where I have a lot of fun playing Ghost Recon. There are other times where I have less fun when I'm looking for an enemy to kill, and I realize he's stuck in a glitch and he's been floating above me for like 15 minutes. But hopefully, I won't see any of that in this new game I'm playing. Plus, I also heard what really sparked me to do this. Besides you recommending it all the time, everyone said that the Star Wars Fallen Order game played like a Dark Souls game,
but like on children's mode.
Yeah, on children's mode. So we'll check it out. I mean, I got to do something until the new Predator game, which is going to kill everything else, shows up. Predator Hunting Grounds coming through pretty soon here.
Yeah. I'm baffled by the fact that you think that's going to be a good game. I've heard multiple people say that it is just dog shit. So I can't even support you on that one. Usually I support you on anything and everything that you do. That one I refuse to support you on.
Listen, I heard one reviewer talking about the game, and he just literally, like, you would have thought someone said something bad about his mother, and then they were like, "Hey, talk about this now," because it was a horrible review.
Absurd.
But everyone loves playing with the Predator. That's the one saving grace of that game. But we'll see how Dark Souls rolls out. That was an easy one for us, but I got something for you. Speaking of video games, MW2 Remastered multiplayer.
I don't know why you're doing this to me so early on the show.
Listen, because we got to get out the way now, man.
It's early on the show. So there's rumors going around from the same guy who leaked the fact that the Modern Warfare 2 campaign was coming out, right? Guys are known in the community, trusted in the community. The leak is that the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, according to the developers, has changed so much from what the original game was that they are unwilling and are actually literally afraid to release the game to see what the reviews would be from the community. Now,
wait, break that down for me. Why would they be so scared of their community? What do they think is going to happen exactly?
So it's a volatile community, right? Here's the issue. You're Activision, right? And people see that it's hey, it's an Activision game, right? Whatever. But really, there are different developers. I've broke this down for you a few times. Infinity Ward and Treyarch. I don't care about Sledgehammer or Raven, whatever the third studio is. They couldn't make the 3-year turnaround time in the game that they needed to come out with. They got booted back in the rotation. Don't care, right? This is what you need to know. Infinity Ward, Modern Warfare, Treyarch, Black Ops. That's what you need to know. That's all you need to know. Because then you'll be able to tell the lines, right?
Right.
Modern Warfare 2 is a widely loved game in the series. COD 4, which is the original Modern Warfare, the Modern Warfare 2007 or whatever it is at this point. Modern Warfare 2 are two of the most loved games in the series. A lot of people think that's where the game was the best. A lot of people think that's where the game was the most enjoyable, so the most fun. Modern Warfare 2 was my first Call of Duty. A lot of people had their first Call of Duty experience on Modern Warfare 2 or COD 4, right? It's one or the other. You go back to people and ask, what was your first Call of Duty? It's in between there. COD 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, right? Modern Warfare 2 was such a perfect dumpster fire that you couldn't recreate that today. First of all, there were so many bugs and glitches in the game. There was a bug where so there was a javelin in the game, which is a rocket launcher that shoots out, goes up in the air, and then hits a spot where you do it, and it explodes, right? And it's like 2, 3, 4 times the size of a grenade. There was a glitch where if you had, I forget what it was, a tack insert and a javelin, and you pull the javelin up and hit the tack insert at the same time, you'd be in this limbo mode, and then when someone killed you, you would blow up with the same level of what the javelin would in the spot where you died. So you would run into a building, right into someone would knife you and just blow everyone up in the building, right? So there was that glitch, right? There was a glitch where if you had a care package and emergency airdrop. Oh, I actually almost forgot the name of it. Emergency airdrop. So a care package, you drop one care package, gives you a random kill streak. Emergency airdrops, it drops, I think it was 3 in this game. 3 or 4. 3 or 4 care packages that give you a random kill streak each, right? If you drop your care package and had an emergency airdrop and you jump up onto the care package and then back off of it immediately, you essentially had unlimited emergency airdrops. You could drop 100 care packages in, and everyone would have fucking kill streaks. Both teams. Because you'd eventually die and there'd be 50 care packages laying there. Commando was a perk, but Commando, they had pro perks in this game. They don't have those anymore. Commando Pro, after you get so many knife kills with Commando, or you might have actually had to jump off of a building and survive a number of times. Commando Pro, you had no fall damage anymore. Okay? So imagine you could jump off of anywhere in any map and hit the ground, have no fall damage. And for whatever reason, there was a bug in the game that your knife was extended. And you can knife people 25 feet, dude. Down a corridor. You would just go whoosh, and launch forward, get him with a knife. Right? Ninja Pro, major footsteps, virtually silent. Right? There was a perk called One Man Army that you would allow, it would take up your secondary spot. So you had a primary, you would switch to a bag and be able to choose a new class. But you could always, what you did was you put One Man Army with like an assault rifle with under barrel grenade launchers, right? So you would have unlimited grenades essentially that just blew up on impact, and you would switch to the One Man Army bag, get that again, and you just had them infinitely. And you would put Danger Close on. Danger Close, another perk, pro perk, or no, you don't even need the pro. The regular perk, your explosives were twice the size. The pro perk made your lethal kill streaks explode on impact. By the way, also another bug. Not really, but it's bullshit. So you would just have these nukes that you're shooting around the map. And like, to be fair, I used them, but only when someone on the other team was already using them. Right. So it was like you had a class for retaliation. So all of these things in the game, right? There's many more. The fact that the UMP-45, a submachine gun, while silenced, was a 3-shot maximum from any distance. It's the most OP gun in the game. The ACR, the assault rifle, had 0 recoil. Like it had like a normal spread, let's say, is like this tall, right? For a Call of Duty assault rifle, the ACR was this, right? Had 0 recoil. All of this, right, was in this game. But there were so many overpowered things that like it really didn't matter. There's 3 people using UMPs and ACRs and SCARs and like whatever. It just made sense going back and forth because the game was competitive because everyone had access to that. Now, if you change one of those things, it offsets that balance and ruins the game. If you take the one-man army noob tubes out, you also have to take Commando Pro out. You have to take Ninja Pro out. You have to take Danger Close Pro out. You have to take the unlimited range shotguns out. Like you have to take all of these things out. Now, that's fine. You could correct all of those issues and make the game fundamentally better. But you can't change the UMP. You can't change the recoil of the guns. You can't change the fact that the UMP had basically unlimited range. Like there's the guns you can't touch, and you can't change the movement mechanics, the speed of the game, the how fluid the game was, the maps. You can't change the fucking maps because I knew they would change the maps. You can't change the net code because the net code was really good in Modern Warfare 2. Although in Modern Warfare 2 it was peer-to-peer servers. And it was hilarious because you could manipulate that super hard and like make sure the server was on your host, and you had basically 20 ping while everyone else had like 800 ping or whatever it was, and you'd have host pro as we used to call it back in the day, because basically when you were a host with like 20 ping, you were almost invincible to everyone else because everyone else was lagging really hard. Like you have to keep all of that in there, or go the other direction, make the game fundamentally perfect again. But keep everything. You got to keep all the maps. You got to keep everything, all the rotations, all the game modes, everything. So I don't know what they did to change the game so drastically. My thought would be that they put the Modern Warfare movement mechanic in it and change the speed and the pace and how everything played. But I don't know, Stevie. I don't know, dude. It's loaded. I could go on about this for hours.
2 things. You could for hours, and that was a very in-depth breakdown. 2, I've been trying to monitor my laugh because I heard myself laughing on the podcast the other day. I was like, I don't like the sound of my laugh. But so with all that said, you know what? I don't know if you know about this. You wouldn't because you're too young. There was a Street Fighter that came out once upon a time, and I'm going to tie this in a bow and relate it perfectly. That it was in the arcade. We're not talking about the home edition, arcade edition.
Hold on. In your opinion, right? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off here. I did mean to cut you off, actually.
Yeah, you did.
Were the arcade editions better, or were the home editions better?
Superior, but the home editions obviously became better than the arcade. But there was this weird time, Zach, right? So there was Championship Edition, and then there was something called Turbo Edition. I'm probably going to get the timeline wrong here, but someone my age is going to hear what I'm going to say, and they're going to know instantly. Once upon a time in New York, I showed up to the local arcade, right? And I noticed there were more kids. And it's not, when I say arcade, I'm talking about a place where they sold candy and newspapers. And they had Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat there. And I noticed there were more kids than normal waiting in line to play the game. And everyone was just going bananas. And I look at the screen.
Was it Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition?
And then Guile doing something that I've never seen before. He's throwing more than one Sonic Boom. In fact, this kid has the entire screen littered with Sonic Booms.
Oh, he was glitching?
Yeah, not only was it filled with Sonic Booms, but they were now heat-seeking Sonic Booms. The guy playing with Ryu was throwing fireballs and then changed into Blanca mid-fireball and jumped through all the Sonic Booms and hit the other guy. Come to find out, it wasn't just one isolated Street Fighter. It was all around the city, and then even in some remote areas in Queens. This version of Street Fighter later would be known as Rainbow Edition. Turns out there was some bootleg Street Fighter games that were released because it was easy to do that. It was cheaper to make a bootleg version with the chips than actually get it from Capcom.
Holy shit.
I say all that to say that that's what it sounded like you described Modern Warfare 2. Like those glitches improved upon the game and made it more fun. Like the ping, the server, those type of glitches are fun, right? So you're saying that the community wouldn't be able, unless they were able to bring all that stuff back, then they would just have to make the game fundamentally perfect.
Right. You have to duplicate it, carbon copy, or go in and change so much that the community would hate it. Right. And I think that they chose the community would hate it route.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same. Right. Notoriously, if you're gonna reboot something, or not even reboot, remaster something, but change it is widely hated.
Yeah, except for Final Fantasy. Apparently, these people they're loving it.
But they're remastering it. That's it. They're updating the graphics. That is literally all they're doing.
What, for Final Fantasy or modern?
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Resident Evil. Final Fantasy, they did change some things, but extended the game or something.
Yeah, they changed the combat mechanics on it too, and it looks like something I would play now.
It does, yeah. It's just JRPG. You would play it for sure. Hold on. I fact check you here, and perfect. You did this perfect, sir. That's amazing. Rainbow Edition by a Taiwanese hacking group.
Yeah. Don't thank me. There's actually a YouTuber who, because I was talking to her about with a friend of mine at work, and he was like, "Yeah, I've heard of this," but I knew he had that twinge of like, "I don't believe a word you say." I'm like, "No, man, this was a real thing. I'm telling you, there was a Street Fighter that came out and it changed the game, and it even changed the mechanics moving forward. I believe in the way Street Fighter was made because they saw that like, oh wow, people really enjoy a looser gameplay."
Yeah.
But so same thing with the MW2. The only thing about the COD community I'm finding out, man, is like you guys thirst for something better. You have a high standard, and I just worry if the standard. And we've talked about this ad nauseum, but I'll keep bringing it up as long as it keeps triggering you, because I like talking about stuff that triggers you, man. It's like, when does the standard or fandom, and that's what this is. When does fandom take something hostage, and then when do we return it back as fans and say, you know what, I'll play. Just give me something better.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. That's a really, really good question. Like, here's my answer, right? I wanted something new in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that I wanted new, which seems new, was to go back to the originals.
Right.
If that makes sense, right? Because we are so far strayed away from the COD 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2 days. Those were the core days from COD 4 to Black Ops 2, which is a long range, by the way. I named all the games in between. Those were the perfect days of Call of Duty. Black Ops introduced the belly flop, which is what the dolphin dive, where you would just, like, you're running and just boop, and fall on your stomach. That was the mechanic that Black Ops introduced, right? There was no sliding. There was no rocket jumps. There was no fucking laser weapons, right? It was still plausible arcade shooters, right? We don't want, at least for me, I think I could speak for at least a lot of the hardcores in the Call of Duty community, right, that don't like this game, I should say. We don't want the Rainbow Six style game where it's always two shot to kill no matter what, right? We don't want, we want the one-shot headshot deagles. We want those because those are fun and satisfying to do. But we don't want like one-shot assault rifles headshots, right? Because that's the realistic thing. We don't want that, right? We want the fast-paced, fair, yet kind of random, because all shooters are random, shooter that golden era of Call of Duty was.
I think it's interesting because I have no dog in this fight, man. But I don't think you're gonna get that back, man.
Nope.
But like looking at the direction they're going in, and again, people will take some issue with what I'm saying because I don't have anything invested in it. But it looks like they're going more new age fan friendly as the franchise moves forward. And I would not be surprised to see the way it's been now to see if the COD League just kind of disbands, because it's like, what's the motivation besides money? You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. The Call of Duty eSports scene has been around for 10, 12 years. At this point, I think it's a staple, right? It's the same way Counter-Strike is a staple. A lot of people don't like Counter-Strike Go versus 1.6 or even Source, right? But it's still a staple. League of Legends has changed a lot from its heyday, right? League of Legends has changed a ton. Like, all of these games are staples now. Halo is the same thing, dude. Halo has gone a way different direction from what Halo 2 was or Halo 3 was, right? The two best games, widely considered. but it's a staple. When Halo eSports is on, people watch it, right? You know, Call of Duty League is here to stay, for sure. Call of Duty League is going to grow. It's growing, right? Yeah. It is doing well. Even with the online games, it's doing well, even though a lot of the players don't like the online game, which is fucking what they used to play. So, fuck it up. Like, just deal with it. But yeah. So really, you know, what I want is the updated graphics. I don't even want the fucking updated graphics. I want them to re-release Modern Warfare 2 to exactly what it was, so that we can just fucking play the game again, because it was fun. That's all I want. I just
what system did the Modern Warfare 2, the one you love, come out for?
360 and PS3 and PC.
I think you actually, if I had a modded PlayStation 3, which I don't own a modded PlayStation 3. Yeah,
you have it.
It's on there. I think I might just pop that on one day and just see what the hubbub's about. But since we're talking about FPS, I gotta ask you a question before we move into topic 6. The 100 Thieves event, the doc situation. Have you been following this at all? With the
Not at all. If it involves doc, I generally stick away from it.
All right, so what happened basically is 100 Thieves hosted a invite Valorant tournament, and they had a bunch of teams come in, and
Shroud's team dominated, by the way.
Yeah, they did dominate, and there were some complaints that maybe it shouldn't have been so many former CS pros or current CS pros
on one team.
Like in general, and then Doc recruited his team, and right before the thing happens, he just said, "Nah, I'm not doing it. This is nonsense." He's like, "There's like nothing but pros playing the game," and then he went on a tear and just completely dissed the game, saying that it's too slow, it's a snooze fest. But that's Doc. That plays into the character he plays. I did hear something about the anti-cheat, but I'm going to let you take it away on this one because it's interesting. I want to see what you are going to say, and I'm going to tell you what I heard.
So when you install Valorant, it does a very unique thing, is it actually makes you restart your computer to install the anti-cheat entirely, which means to me, and it meant it to me immediately, is embedding it in the registry. Generally, when you install something and it has to restart after, it's making a registry change to supersede your Windows settings, right? Now, I knew that's what was happening, but I didn't really take into consideration what kind of the repercussions or the implications of that could be. But what we're talking about is the Valorant anti-cheat is always on when your computer is running. I actually, as soon as I saw that, I uninstalled Valorant today. Yeah, not worth it for me, man. It's not worth it for me. Not because, and I should probably uninstall League of Legends too to keep up with that same level of whatever. But it's not worth. I like the game. I thought it was fun. I have a good time on it the other night. But to be honest, I've kind of moved away from shooters in the last few months. So I'm super rusty on shooters, and it showed. But the Valorant anti-cheat always being on means that with an update, they can install a data miner on your computer. Most likely there's already one built into it, let's be fair. A data miner on your computer, some sort of Bitcoin mining software that runs in the background. They actually have Bitcoin mining software now that when you're not looking at Task Manager, it's at 100%. You just don't realize it's at 100%. And it actually will up your CPU and GPU fan curve. It actually does a lot of shit. It's actually really cool. But when you open up Task Manager, it instantly cuts. So it looks like all your system's running normal.
Oh man!
So they could
do that. Brutal.
They could spy on you in any sense of the imagination. Anything you type, they could essentially be tracking with a keylogger of some sort. Your browsing history, like data mine the information off of saved photos, right? Because there's like geolocation on all photos now. So like they could take all the geolocations off your photos. They could literally track you through your computer through this anti-cheat that's always running. That's what's happening. So, I hope that, and I know that it won't happen because, I'm sure Steve's got some follow-up questions. I'll be able to get into that a little bit deeper as to why they won't remove this. But I would hope that they have not an optional anti-cheat, because there needs to be an anti-cheat, but a cloud-based anti-cheat that runs off of their end. If they're running dedicated servers, they should be able to run it off of their server, the server that you are connecting to, and it has to be, your files have to be locked down for you to be able to essentially join the server. So
yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit it on the head with that. So that was everything I heard. So I caught wind of this right when they were kind of, I hate to use the term.
I just saw it today, by the way.
Yeah, when the news broke. I was listening to it yesterday when I was walking the dog, and I called you, and I meant to bring it up then. And so obviously people are freaked out about this. Why did they go to these links? Well, I haven't been playing CS as long as any of you guys, but I know that it's riddled with cheaters, right? So they felt like they needed to go. They needed to go this far to protect the integrity of the game, which is pretty interesting because you remember when we watched the demo video with the head programmer, that woman that kind of looks like a supervillain from a James Bond film, when she was describing this, and that was something she really emphasized, was like, we're going to do everything in our power to protect the integrity of this game, but at what cost, right?
That's fair. That's right. I like that idea, but I think it needs to be cloud-based, hosted on their servers.
Yeah, not living in the registry of my computer doing weird stuff in Task Manager. So let's break it down into user-friendly terms. What does this mean?
I was hoping you were going to ask another question. What are the true implications of this, right? Do you know who Riot Games is owned by?
No, who are they owned by?
Tencent.
Wait, hold on. Before we go any further, do I need to put my hoodie on and put the foil on top now? Are we going that deep, or are we going to keep it? Oh, put the foil on. Put the foil on. Let's go.
They're owned by Tencent. Do you know who Tencent is?
No, I don't know.
It is a Chinese mobile game company.
Get it off your computer, right?
Basically. PUBG Mobile, owned by Tencent. All of the major phone games that you play, owned, developed, purchased, hostile takeover, Tencent. They're all Tencent, dude. That's why. That's why. They're a Chinese company. They're owned by the Chinese government, I believe, because I think most companies over there are nationalized. Oh, did you see in side news here? China is actually going to cut down on. They're going to crack down on their gaming. They're not going to let anyone game with people outside of the Great Firewall. It's funny, they have a Great Firewall. And you're going to have to use your real name as your in-game name.
I did not see that. I know that I was watching someone talking about how Valorant is going to do worldwide, and that was one of the concerns, because that's a huge market over there if you can break into it.
Especially for that art style game.
Yes. I got to be honest with you, man. So given where we've both worked and where you work now, like when you think about things like data and information and how secure and sacred those things are, the only thing that really concerns me about this issue is that this is where you need to read the disclaimer. You can't get mad at them.
There's no disclaimer for it.
There is none? No, wait, when you're installing this, there's nothing that says, hey, by the way.
Not that I remember.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't remember going through any disclaimers. I could reinstall it and find out, but I don't remember going through any disclaimers.
No. If you reinstall that on your computer, please don't call me again.
Right? I haven't scrubbed through the registry yet, which I probably should at this point, but
get deep into it. Well, I mean, what does that mean? What does this all mean for the average person, Zach? What does this mean for the person who doesn't care about that type of stuff?
Probably nothing. Right. It probably means they made a really good anti-cheat that will fucking know if you change the game file, right? That's exactly what it means. But really the what they could do because of how intrusive that anti-cheat is really what's scary, right? But it's no more scary than your Facebook account or your YouTube account or your Google accounts. Like there's settings in both your iPhone or your Android phone that you can opt out of.
Yes.
That tracks your location 24/7 and keeps it in like a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Where you were, by the way, how long you were there.
You opt out on it, but as soon as the phone updates or the computer updates, guess what it does? It re-enables all that stuff.
It's back on. And it's really not off, right? Yeah. Let's be fair, right?
No.
You think it's off, but it's really not off, essentially.
There's no way to just click a check mark and turn these things off. I mean, so I have a buddy in LA who would go as far as every time he gets a new phone, he roots it. But then I always kind of get on him about that. I'm like, hey man, these OMs that you're getting, like, you didn't design any of this stuff, so you can't even trust the guy that's providing it. Like, how do you know he's not loading stuff?
You know damn well that Google is making most of those routes, right?
Probably. That's why it's open source and they're okay with it. Like,
right. Android is open source, right? So that's actually really nice. I like that. I do like my stock Android on my Pixel. I'm saying all of this having a little bit of experience in cybersecurity and the field in general, actually, for most of my life, really. Yet I own a Pixel. So
hold on for a second. Before we go too deep into that, I gotta ask you a side question. Is it true that Shroud's going pro again for Valorant, or is that just like some nonsense?
Everyone has said that so far. So is he? I don't know. I don't keep up with the Mixer scene, the 8 people that watch on Mixer in general. But
listen, me and my 7 other buddies, we're loyal, and we're just I'm keeping Mixer afloat right now. I'm donating $70 to each streamer every day to keep that platform up.
No, he's not Steve's wife. No, he's not.
No, I'm not.
If I saw him do that, I would drop kick him, but I'd probably be the second person.
So it's funny that you bring up Mixer, because the huge thing was everyone said that when Ninja signed and with the new new generation consoles coming out and stuff like that, blah, 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 Xbox Series X, you know where I'm going with this, that somehow Mixer was going to play a huge part in that market and people were just going to start tuning into it. I just don't think that's going to be true, but
no, unless they do. The platform wasn't popular when it was Beam. Let's be fair.
Oh, Beam.
So,
I bought a tablet and I didn't know what that was. It was already installed on it, and I factory erased the tablet and rooted it. So I was like, I don't know what's Beam. Get out of here.
Beaming up my data.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking about data and the troubling times that we live in now, we're going to put our serious hat on here talking with a dad. No, we're not. I can't keep a serious face. Apple and Google are teaming up. They finally set aside their differences. They're giving out free phones and free services to everyone. You just got to email me your personal information. Me and my buddy, the Nigerian prince. But Apple and Google are teaming up for something that is, depending on your view on this type of stuff, could be really good.
So what are they teaming up on? I actually have no idea about this.
I'm going to give you the abridged version because there's
give me the TLDR.
Yes,
let's get to it.
Basically, it's to help battle against the pandemic. So what they're going to do is there's a setting that can be enabled on your smartphone only voluntarily regarding your Bluetooth, where if you test positive for the pandemic source, the disease itself, that you can then see, they can track and see who you were in contact with. But no information on yourself will be given out, but it will be able to keep a better tab on it. So that sounds really good on paper, right? So what does that do? That instead of guesswork, they can say, hey, Zach was within these 15 people. For sure, we know this within a 5-foot distance, and they are high at risk. We need to make sure they're alerted, and everyone's confidentiality would be protected. I don't know if it would go as far as HIPAA. Obviously, you know, we're talking about getting into like laws. And
as
stuff
long
like
as
that.
There's no names involved, HIPAA's okay. As long as it says, hey, you were in contact on this time and this date with someone who tested positive for pandemic.
Right. So now let's go to the 2 conclusions that can happen with this type of thing going on, right? So some people are worried that some type of witch hunt could happen. There could be a breach in data. And then depending on how this whole thing plays out, will people start becoming more aggressive towards people who've infected them at the workplace, et cetera, that this could be a means in which people can enact some type of retaliation. Other people, like myself, but I'm not pushing my viewpoint on it. No, I'm saying there's another group of people who are worried about their civil liberties. I'm not amongst that group, even though I respect where they're coming from. They're worried about information being leaked, us giving another foothold to the government to do some tracking. I fall in the third group, which is I'm willing, me personally, to suspend my civil liberties and my right to privacy in this regard to help protect the greater good.
Here's the issue.
My stance.
Do you remember a little thing happened right after 9/11, actually really enacted right after 9/11, called the Patriot Act?
I do remember the Patriot Act.
Where the NSA springs out of the fact that they have data centers with petabytes of data of all of our phone calls, and text messages, and emails. Because everyone after 9/11 was willing to suspend their civil liberties for the greater good, right?
Right.
Now, how many terrorists did that catch?
On record?
On record.
Oh, very few.
Zero. Record? I believe the exact stat is, and I haven't looked at this in a little while, is 0.
Right.
Same thing with the fucking shoe bomb, right? Why do you have to take your shoes off at the airport? One guy
had a shoe bomb?
Had a shoe bomb, right? That's why you take your shoes off at the airport. Other than that, using those with their sneakers.
Yeah.
0 people have been caught because of the shoe bomb situation. Right.
Wait, so you got to quantify that. 0 people have been caught because it could also be because they're doing that, and
Correct.
then it becomes.
It goes both ways, right? The fact that they're testing now is it's less likely that you're going to get through. So why do it? Right? Come up with a different, devious, awful scheme, right?
Yes.
That has caught 0 people,
right?
And now the NSA is still tracking all of our information and all of the above, right? Edward Snowden leaked all this information. What?
And here, talking with a dad, we respect that office and everything they do to keep us safe. Just
if the NSA wants to give me a contract, I'll go work for you.
They're sponsoring this video, by the way.
Oh wow! Oh, thank you, NSA. We're proud to say. Fuck Edward Snowden. Now, what liberties does this give you? Right. This is my only thought. Right.
Right.
You have to think. You may be a Trump supporter, right? You may be a Trump fan. You may think everything he does is a great idea, and you want him to have this power, right?
Right.
You want him to have this power, but see now Joe Biden gets elected this election. I don't think it'll happen, but he does. He wins, landslide, whatever. He is victorious. He's now our new president.
I like where you're going with this.
The power that you gave the guy that you liked is now in the hands of the guy you didn't like, right? So you have to remember that, like, anything that you push through Congress and make it a law, a bylaw, some sort of precedent is now controlled by the guy that you potentially don't like, right? So you got to go both ways on these things. So
let me interject for just 1 second.
Please.
Now, so it's really important. We're not journalists, but we're going to do something that most journalists don't do today. We're going to say openly, honestly, that me and Zach are talking from our opinion and this conjecture. Zach, one thing that's interesting, and I wanted to ask you about this. So the entire thing is built on the concept that these are 2 private companies,
correct?
Right? 2 private
massive government contracts, both of them, by the way.
Yes, they do. One actually didn't stop doing business with Huawei. Huawei, how do you pronounce that word? Huawei. And we remember that was a huge debacle. But so this would all be on a voluntary basis, right?
So here's the issue, right?
Right.
The voluntary basis is Google and Apple teaming up to develop this thing that they can do, which, to be fair, they could already do, right? Yes. You just have to click yes. I tested positive, and that today, right? The exact algorithm might not be there, but that today could ping everyone that you were in contact with Bluetooth, because your Bluetooth is always on, right? Don't care if you have it on or off. You just like your cellular service, even like I live in a place, I have 0 cell phone service. I can't get text messages now. I can't make phone calls. Like I do. I struggle with a lot of things here. There is cell service connected to that phone through GPS. No matter what, right? Another question. When you shut your phone off, I have a phone over here somewhere. Actually, I'm going to just...
I like where you're going with this. Shutting it off doesn't do anything. You know why
this phone is shut off.
Your phone, but it's still trackable.
Right, but is it actually off? The company says yes, right? The phone may look like it's off, but I could turn the phone on very easily. This phone isn't off. It's in a programmed off mode, right? It's never proven, essentially, but when you buy a burner phone, right, and you go for burner phones for a reason, whether it's you're a CIA operative in another country and you don't want anyone to be able to track the phone, you take the battery out.
You know why you take the battery out?
Because then it's truly off.
Also,
and it's not trackable.
Also, that little weird indent that you used to see on the back of Samsung phones and that battery, that's actually where the GPS is stored on the phone.
I actually didn't know that. I always usually thought that was a amp diverter, just in case
I
too many amps.
That's what I thought too until I saw a breakdown of the battery. I was like, oh,
that's
okay,
cool.
That's interesting.
But also, when you take the battery out, when you remove the battery out of it, it's truly off, right? Yes. When it doesn't have battery anymore, it can't do anything. So, your phones are tracking you more than the average person probably knows. So this is just a flip of the switch for them to enable it. But they develop this, and then they give it to the government, and the government is now able to track you, people you were in contact with, people who you saw, maybe you shouldn't have saw, right?
Yeah, right.
Maybe you're devious, you shouldn't have saw these people.
Shouldn't have been where you said you were, but you were there anyway.
Right, you were there. We've all been in those situations.
I have not.
Okay. And now they could track you to a T where you were, how long you were there, whose phone you were in contact with. If you think your ISPs don't already have these logs, you're absolutely crazy, right? The ISPs actually technically own both on internet and cell phone. I said ISP for cell phone, but your service provider for your cell phone has all these logs. That is their property. Yeah. It is not your property. You can't, unless it's subpoenaed, you can't go and get the log of your locations. But a police department can bring a subpoena, and even then it's hard for them, by the way, get the logs of where you were. So really what it is, this is very interesting in Apple and Google teaming up. I actually didn't know that what this was for. I thought they were going to release some product together, and I was going to go down a different road of, massive companies have known for teaming up and releasing products and doing things, but
doing like kind of not fanfare, but well weather type stuff during hard times. But this is actually pretty interesting. What I would have liked to have seen them do, what I thought when I heard that they were teaming up, was that they were going to team up and come up with some type of respiratory tech, some type of monitoring tech to help further along the recovery process, or screening process. Which, by the way, we're not going to go there. Folks, be wary, right? Read the fine print with this type of stuff. It sounds really good. My first thought is always like, this is going to help people, but you got to use discernment when you're looking at this type of stuff. I agree. And be careful. Actually, can I tell you a weird thing that happened to me this morning? Like, done a little cybersecurity stuff too, but like, check this out.
Pre or post morning coffee?
This is pre-morning coffee. I was walking downstairs with the family.
Okay, there you go. Go ahead.
So I got a Facebook message from my buddy's dad, who on occasion has messaged me on Facebook and stuff. Hey, how are the kids? Glad to see you doing so well, blah, blah, blah type of stuff. So it wasn't uncommon. But it was at 5 a.m. and he's in LA. And I'm like, oh, man, I hope everything's okay.
2 a.m. LA time, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, I hope everything's okay. Given the climate, I'm thinking he's going to tell me that someone's sick, the baby's sick, he's sick, his wife's sick, something like that. And then I realized that this wasn't my friend's dad I was talking to, because he started going into, hey, did you hear about the $100,000 grant that they're giving out to all disabled and laid off people?
Oh,
and and I hit him up, and I'm just like, hey, man, I think your Facebook page profile has been compromised in some way, shape, or form. Sent him a copy of the conversation so he knows. But then I realized what they did was they just went on his page and took his picture.
They duplicated his account.
Yeah.
And you realized that was a bot that was doing that, right?
Yep. And the way I tested the bot was, I was like, hey, I don't want to say the guy's name. I was like, when it asked me, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm feeling extremely blessed. Can you say the same? And it misspelled blessed. And, that's when I realized what was going on. And I'm like, okay. So weird stuff, man. People, watch out for your grandparents.
Yeah.
Please, me and Zach can tell you horror stories. Please check in on your folks if they're up in age, and make sure they're not picking up these calls. Which one you want to go into next, Zach?
Man, you're running for a real downer there.
I know.
We actually got kind of the heavy hitters out of the way, I think.
These are all very glum topics, though.
No, they're really not.
Yeah,
let's be fair. I'm really struggling here. Steve wanted to do a new challenge. We briefly touched on this, I believe, last episode talking with the dad episode.
40 minutes we talked about it.
We did a bit that I thought was really funny. Apparently it didn't go over that well. About Steve saying titles for
wait. Who didn't it go over well with? Someone tell you?
I didn't get any praise for it, so I just assume it didn't go over.
Okay, gotcha.
Steve was reading titles for movies, and I feel like we should go back to this one day. And I was guessing the plots. I was very wrong on most of them. I actually got one of them correct, though. Steve wants to do a challenge. I don't know how long the time is set for, or really if it's even a time restrained thing.
You cannot put a time restraint on this, because someone could die watching these movies. Let's be honest. Like, you could literally not make it through. But I wanted to do the worst movie on Netflix challenge. Not one, but all of them. And
I looked at the list today. I actually looked at the list today and decided that I did not want to partake in it because the movies looked so bad.
Come on, man. Sextuplets? How could you?
Again, I've watched a lot of Johnny Cate Plus 8, and I'm not interested in the movie.
Actually, the more I think about it, I don't want to do this either because tried to watch one of them and I was like, this is a bad idea. This is worse than the book challenge. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and say something. Challenges are bad. The Ice Bucket Challenge, was that the thing that started this whole thing off?
The Ice Bucket Challenge. Yeah, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
But all right, let's just pick one bad movie off of it. Actually, I'll pick one for you. You pick one for me, and then we'll see.
I need the link. Oh, I have it on my phone. I guess.
We'll see. Go
ahead, Stevie. Spit it out, buddy.
Oh, these look so bad. You know what? I'm going to give you The Outsider.
The Outsider?
Yes.
Okay. So on good news, movie news recently, I watched The Other Guys for the first time.
Oh, what'd you think?
I thought it was really funny.
It's amazing.
I thought it was really funny.
That movie literally makes me smile every time. It's like Step
Jared
Brothers.
Leto?
Yep.
See, I was gonna say Father of the Year, but that shit looks really funny because it has David Spade in it. I don't know, Stevie. I don't know. I don't know if I want to do those.
Come on, man. Do it for the viewers.
I can't be an Adam Sandler movie because they're usually at least kind of dad funny. Game Over, man.
Game Over? Is that one on the list?
Game Over, man. That's it. That's the movie. That's the movie with the guys from Workaholics.
Oh.
So there's a chance that it is like a Super Troopers level cult classic.
Yes.
Or that it's really, really bad like the TV show.
I actually enjoyed some of the Workaholic stuff, but yeah, this is the challenge. I want to invite everyone else as they're isolated in the house. I dare you to pick 4 movies off this list and go through it. Fat Mantis, we know you're listening. We know you've probably watched all these movies already, and you're going to defend at least 8 of them. You're going to tell me how they were. Did I tell you this dude shouted me out on the show? He didn't come for your throat, man. So I'm sitting there like a loyal fan watching one of the Fat Mantis videos, and I am cracking up, almost spitting my coffee out. And then at the end, he takes a shot at me for no reason, absolutely unprovoked. He's talking about being in isolation isn't the time to do certain things, man. And he says to our one friend, he's like, this isn't the time to do a mountain of coke, and says that friend's name. And I'm like, uh-oh. And I'm laughing, I'm like having a good time. And he says the next line is, this isn't the time to get drunk and watch Casablanca and drink a whole handle of whiskey in one sitting, and says another friend's name. And I'm like, oh yeah, get him, Roy. And he's like, this isn't the time to build an MMA cage in your backyard with 2x4s with your sons and start doing backyard wrestling. I'm talking to you, Steve.
Oh my god!
I'm like, shots fired, man. So I know Fat Mantis. And Fat Mantis, if you made it through all those other somber topics, I know you've seen these movies. In fact, you look like the type of guy, Roy. I know for a fact, being a DC fanboy such as yourself, you've probably seen Rebirth 2016. And I know you're going to defend the do-over. And I know you're going to tell me that the Ridiculous Six is some derivative of blah, 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 Quentin Tarantino. Like, I know what you're into. And you probably like this movie Polar, too.
Steve's named a bunch of the worst movies on Netflix there. I mean, that kind of rolls into our next topic, I guess, right? So we're going to watch one of those really, really poor movies. But we got to talk about some really, really poor YouTube and streaming channels.
Yeah.
Steve put this topic on here. I don't know who paid him to shout him out. I'm clearly not getting a cut, or I would have absolutely had a t-shirt and a banner made. But Steve wants to shout out and spotlight and talk about some of our favorite channels on YouTube.
Right.
Now, to be fair, I think I watch maybe 2 channels with under 100,000 subscribers. Content that probably most of our fans would not be interested in. I try not to watch a lot of content because I try not to remake that content with our own, right? If I watch too much stuff, I want to do that, right? I really want to do those things. So I try not to. I do my best, right? But what do you have in mind? I feel like you have some people in mind here, buddy.
Well, I mean, the obvious one is going to be not just because he's a good friend of mine, but I'm actually going to tell you, if you're not watching Fat Mantis on YouTube, you are missing out on some of the best.
It is really funny.
Some of the best skits that any man has ever dared to do in public, around his parents or at his place of work. Also, if you're the type of person that really enjoys political commentary, depending on which side of the aisle you're on, but if you're looking for someone objective, he's got 10,000 viewers. He's got over 100,000 subscribers, but he'll be the first one to tell you that YouTube is not his main source of revenue. In fact, he did an episode where he broke down how little money he makes, even with all those subscribers. His name's Young Ripper 59. Guy's a comic book enthusiast. If you want to hear some great political commentary and even have yourself challenged to hear a counter view, check out his channel. Those are the only two I got for you. I'm not suggesting any tech videos. You know why? Because I don't want people to go down the rabbit hole I do. That's my private stuff there.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair. I mean, obviously, I watch my friends who have YouTube channels like Big Fry. There's a lot of really, really good commentary, we'll say, of early access games. He's been known to let
that guy. Yes.
Let one or two have it. You know, that's really kind of it. Really in my wheelhouse that I watch regularly.
No streamers you want to shout out, man?
No, I don't really watch too many small streamers. Honestly, I kind of stick to the bigger guys and just keep my time there.
You're the reason that small business is dying in America, Zach.
No,
you're the type of guy
I shop the majority of my money with small businesses, Steve. So I don't know where you're going with that, but I don't like it.
I know you, man. You see the small mom and pop woodchuck cutting store. Dude,
where did hold on a second. When we went and got food, did I not bring you to a place that you might have thought was someone's house?
It's true. I thought I was going to get kidnapped there when we walked in.
Exactly. I brought you to a place.
Was that someone's house?
No. Okay. I definitely don't know those people. I brought you to a hole in the wall. There are so many hole in the walls that I know that you would be surprised. No, I'm not that person.
If that hole in the wall, if that owner owns two of those hole in the walls, is it still considered a hole in the wall?
The only person only owns one. They only own one.
Now, I thought they owned the other place in town too. Don't they own another place like a bar or something like that?
Nope.
So you know, support.
Fuck, do you get your sources from?
Huh?
Where do you get your
mostly
sources?
Alex Jones.
Oh,
he
that's a good point.
To me directly.
No, but he speaks to you. I get it.
He speaks to my dog, and then my dog gives me the messages, and also the frogs. What about you? Do support one person on Twitch that is probably one of the most viewed people, but most people don't know who he is, and I'm always amazed by his gameplay, which is your boy. I can't pronounce his name. You know I'm going to butcher it. Plays Tarkov, but he was beating Doc the other day. Doc was at 12, capped at like 12,000. And then what's the guy's name that plays Fortnite? Kind of a meathead, big dude, funny guy.
Nick
Mercs, like that guy too. He also capped at 12,000. You know how many your boy Vasily had that day?
90.
He was murdering.
So that was an event. There was Twitch Rivals going on. A Tarkov edition of Twitch Rivals. He won. Back-to-back two-time champion. The real two-time champion. That fucking Doc bullshit of him winning fucking Blockbuster back-to-back 1999, 1998.
Shut your filthy mouth. Blockbuster used to host the jams back in the day. That's what he won for. NBA Jam, by the way.
But who cares? Is that even a real game?
That's a real game.
They build it into the 2K games. It's so stupid. Whatever. Pastili's huge, dude. He's one of the faces of Twitch right now.
I'm telling you, man, but he's not known, right? He's definitely what you would call a product of the subculture. Like, he's not crossover yet, right?
No, okay. To be fair, I think Pastili is kind of too humble of a person to be a crossover. Like the Ninja. Ninja's really Ninja and Doc are the true only crossovers, right?
Right.
He'll never be that. But when Twitch community goes, everyone in the Twitch community knows who Pastili is.
And they respect him too.
Right. Because
same way people,
he's good at the game, doesn't really talk much trash other than to Veritas, and is just like a genuinely nice guy.
I feel like him and Shroud would make a great buddy film where it's just like two nice guys out doing nice guy stuff and they get sucked into some seedy underworld type of situation. It's like
because Shroud would have zero lines. He'd be like Silent Bob from Jay and Silent Bob or Clerks.
Oh man, you know what? I wish I could rewatch Clerks for the first time, man. I remember the first time I watched that movie, and I was like, "This guy is genius." I remember the first time I watched.
Amazing. He's done a lot of good movies.
Dogma. Remember the first time you watched that movie? Amazing.
Never. I agree.
You never watched Dogma?
No.
You haven't seen Dogma?
No. What the fuck is wrong with you?
This movie was made for you, man. You got to watch that movie. I'm fearful to tell you to watch it because it's obviously going to only reinforce some of your bad habits and some of the things you think. You should really watch that movie, man. And then, all right. Before we get to like too crazy on that because I want you to watch that and then come back because I can talk about that movie forever. You got to do. How much money you have on you? Can you buy it tonight and watch it?
No, I have things to do, Steve.
What do you have to do?
Listen, I'm trying to hit 2 days back to back million XP days in RuneScape.
Zach,
I'm close. I'm close,
Zach,
Steve.
You're gonna start. Listen, I'm gonna blow you up, and you're gonna get mad about it. Zach's gonna start streaming again, everyone. And I want to tell this to all 63 of you guys: go support his channel when he gets it back up. It's gonna happen.
If it happens, it'll happen probably Q1 next year.
Q1 next year? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
I'm starting to get the lingo. Before you guys would say stuff, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, Q1. That was my favorite type of food."
That's very common. That's very common.
San Diego Comic-Con. Do you know what this is?
It's the first time in 50 years Comic-Con is not going to happen. That's actually sad.
Do you know why this is a bigger deal than, say, New York Comic-Con, which is also not going to happen?
Isn't San Diego the OG Comic-Con?
San Diego, I believe, is the OG Comic-Con, but it's also where the big guns come to premiere new stuff coming out. So the panels, like for the MCU, even Marvel Comics themselves, will come and they'll premiere. Warner Brothers, all your favorite sci-fi shows, everything like that. They all have panels at San Diego
Comic-Con. Yeah.
And for the last few years, the MCU has obviously dominated that conversation. They've had the biggest panels, the biggest fan turnouts, and that's not happening this year, which is no surprise, right? You had to have known this was coming. There probably won't be a Comic-Con at the Jacob Javits Center either. I can't imagine the attendance would be that high, but
well, they can't. They have a field hospital there.
Yeah, I don't even know where. Mantis, hit me up in the comments. Tell me when the Jacob Javits New York Comic-Con is. But yeah, this is not happening, man. And it's a huge part of the local economy, by the way. Like, you get a lot of foot traffic coming there from all over.
There's a lot of people. Yeah, there's around 167,000 people who attend.
And we're talking about a lot of money that they're going to lose out. And actually, did you guys make your way down to Diego when you went out to Cali?
No.
Oh, man, I got to tell you, it's a sleepy area, but it's so much fun. And this is sad, man. It's really sad because
when everything breaks and I take my vacation next year, I think I'm going back to California.
You got to do it, man. But you know what this really hurts, Zach? This hurts all the e-girls and all the cosplayers. What are they going to do this year, Zach? How are they going to get those subs up?
They sell pictures of themselves on the internet.
Oh, good point. Good point.
That's how these people get by. They thirst trap, and that's how they make their money.
So eventually things will return back to normal, and then people will start showing up for. But this is just another casualty with everything that's going on with the pandemic, and there's not much else to say here other than it's just not going to happen, and it's not happening for a good reason. It's not like it's not happening because they lost the venue or because there were some contractual issues. It's just for public safety and all those things. And, we hope to, it's one of those things you hope to see get back up and running because it's a staple,
right? And it's a thing that happens every year. And you get a lot of announcements and a lot of the big guys show up there. Actually, who's a really popular panel there is Critical Role. I've ever told you about Critical Role?
No.
It's a bunch of voice actors who get together and play a Dungeons and Dragons game. They've been doing it for 20 years, apparently. And a few years ago, they decided to stream and make content with their Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's actually really fun. It's actually really fun to watch. They're all voice actors. They're all professional voice actors. The main guy, Matt Mercer, is the guy who voices Hanzo in Overwatch. He's done a million other things, I'm sure. They all have. So it's really cool, actually.
Well, won't be happening this year.
Won't be happening. It's sad to say. It's been kind of a down episode. The Talking with the Dad podcast. You made it through all the way. You're a real trooper, and we actually love you. Actually, drop your information down below. We're gonna send you some gifts, some prizes.
I have no money for prizes, but we will send the biggest hugs and prayers and positive energy, whichever way you want to receive those things. But they do come at the cost of $20 per unit. So make sure that you leave your credit card information with the appropriate person, which is me, not Zach.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be Steve. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching another episode of the Talking with the Dad podcast. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching us on audio, come over to the YouTube channel, hit the sub button. We see you guys out there. We're getting actually quite a few downloads a week. We appreciate you guys. We love our audio listeners. Come over to the channel. It's linked down below in the description of the audio. Both goes vice versa. But come over, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. It gives us some traffic. We're trying to hit that 100 sub mark so we can change the link to our channel. So it could be youtube.com/talkingwithadad, right? We can be a little more official. Put that on a t-shirt, send that out to people, make them wear it in public. 6 feet apart, obviously. So yeah.
What is public?
Yeah, I have no idea. It's a store in the South. Thanks everyone for watching. Again, we'll see you next week.